Hey everyone, Toronto Pearson Airspotter is here. Today it is 4th episode of Thursday Crosscheck Podcast. Today I will talk about comparing in the plane pre-pandemic versus during the pandemic. As you know, during the pandemic will be much more different than the pre-pandemic when you go on the planes. So before I start, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I would really appreciate it. And thanks for all your support. And also, if you haven't followed me on Instagram, make sure you follow me on Instagram. It's Toronto_Pearson_Airspotter. So next, moving on. So as we know, pre-pandemic, it's like the normal stuff, normal times. They usually check in regularly, no mask, no travel requirements, no travel bans. Airline usually board by groups, and they do like normal stuff, right? But when the pandemic started, things gotta be changed. As they sent more planes and they to the grounded areas because of the pandemic, because it looks like it's gotta be empty flight. No one traveled during the pandemic, so yeah, it's gotta be crazy. That comparing to the pandemic, for the pre-pandemic, you see all the planes are running, but during the pandemic, only the certain planes are running, and some they're in the storage, are waiting for their travel restriction to lift. So yeah, that's crazy. And also the middle seat, they also sell middle seat during the pre-pandemic. But however, I will talk about during the pandemic. It's gotta be different. During the pandemic, you have to stay distancing, you have to wear a mask, you have to follow all the COVID-19 rules, you have to be vigilant. And airline had to change policies as according to the government's advice. And it's gotta be changed, everything. So for check-in, when you check in, it's like you're done in the normal ways, but sometimes you have to stay distancing when you check in, and most of the time they might ask you for health screening, like symptoms, international travels, exposures of feeling well or unwell. And sometimes they have to check your COVID-19 negative test results. Yeah, or the documents that you need to show it to them as a proof, as the customs border to check it as well. And another thing is, when you board for the aircraft, I find most of the airlines, they usually board from the back of the aircraft all the way to the front row. So they usually board in the back row to the front rows to promote physical distancing and to reduce the spread of COVID-19. Yeah, Delta Airlines do that. United Airlines do that. But for American, they don't do that. They only board groups, especially during the pandemic. So I find it may not be safe if they board in the groups during the pandemic. So I think if they board in the groups, that might be too risky. So yeah, and when you board on the aircraft, the flight attendant usually give out the wipes, like a sanitizer wipes. But however, some they don't give it to you, so you have to be careful. But if they give you the wipes, make sure you wipes everything. Make sure you wipe the highest surface of touch points. So highest touch area where most people touch it. So make sure you wipe those out. If you wipe it, you most likely need to be more safer if you wipe everything off. For middle seats, as we know, when the pandemic started, they started to block middle seats. So that's a good thing, as it helps to stay distancing from others who is not in the same household, not in the same bubbles. So that's a good part, to stay distancing by blocking the middle seat and not having someone sit with you. But however, if you or others, including your girlfriend, friends, or families, are traveling together, you can sit together, beside each other, which shouldn't be a problem, as long as you stay in a household, as long as you stay in those social bubbles. But however, for those who are not in the same social bubbles or not in the same household, you have to stay distant, staying 6 feet apart. But however, the problem with the middle seats during the pandemic is that some airlines, they lift blocking the middle seat, and they will start selling the middle seat that could be really more risky. Because if they block middle seat, you have to save it somewhere else. It's less than 2 meters, 6 feet, less than 6 feet. And however, your exposure are most likely. So you're most likely to get exposure if you are in if you're in the airline that they started selling middle seats during the pandemic, because you might be close contact with people with COVID-19, and also you're most likely to close contact with the people who came from international, or you could be in close contact with COVID-19, or you could also be close contact with the people who are being exposed. So that's another problem. So yeah. During the inflight, it's different. Mostly before the pandemic, they give you free drinks like Coke, water, Pepsi, or coffee. But during the pandemic, they only hand out just waters, some snacks. But some airlines still do drink options, but they try with different ways. But some airlines, they stop doing a drinking option. They only just give out the water and some snacks, the bag, and some wipes in there. So depending on how long your flights are, how short your flights are. If a flight is longer, like 8 hours or 13 hours, you can still get your meal. But it's gotta be more different. I never take a plane during the pandemic, to be honest, but I worked in the airport during the pandemic. Only the smaller planes like E175 on Air Canada Express, Sky Regional, and they only give you waters, some wipes, some clean cake, and some snacks. But if you're flying with longer flights, I guess they still give you the food, but different than as usual. For the sit back pockets, you still get your safety card, as you needed to understand all the safety rules for the flight and the sick bags. You need it for just in case if you are planning to vomit or puke during the flight, if you feel not well, if you feel because of the plane stuff going on, so sick bags and safety cards. But for the manuals and the sky magazines, they are temporarily removed to reduce the touch points. So in the seatback pocket, you only get safety card and sick bags. But for American Airlines, you will get safety card, sky magazines, and sick bag if you're flying with American Airlines. So that should be a problem, but it's better to remove the sky magazines and the manual to reduce the touch points. So yeah. And it's very important to wear a mask at all the times. When you go on the plane, you have to wear a mask all the times, except for eating and drinking, or if you change your mask, like if you change from one to another mask, that's totally fine. But make sure you wear your mask on at all the times while you're in the flight, while you're in the plane, and also while you're inside the airport. So, in my opinion, the safest airline during the pandemic will definitely Delta Airlines, because Delta Airlines is the most safer. You're able to board from the back row to the front row. They give you the wipes when you board on the aircraft, and they follow all the safety and they take COVID-19 seriously. They block the middle seats. They always extend it until further notice when the COVID is done. They are COVID wise for Delta Airlines. And for the least but not safe airlines, in my opinion, I would say American Airlines, because Americans still board in groups. That could be way too risky, and they sell middle seats. That would be way too risky, because you might be in close contact with people from different countries, sick or have COVID or been exposed. And sometimes they don't give you a wipes. So that's way too problems. So for me, I don't recommend it to fly with American Airlines during the pandemic if you can, but the Delta Airlines highly recommend it to take it, in my opinion. But however, just a reminder, please, this is not a good time to go on a vacation, not a good time to travel non-essential, including shopping or tourists or doing sightseeing. This is not a good time to go there. So, if you have your planned vacation, or if you already booked it, please cancel it until further notice. Please don't book your vacation until further notice. This is not a time, including your domestic and international. No matter how safe they are, please don't book it. Please cancel it until further notice. If you are booking on your flight and it is absolutely essential to you, that's totally fine. You're good. If it's absolutely essential, you're good. But non-essential, totally unacceptable if you travel non-essential and vacation during the COVID-19. So just remember that. And that's it. Make sure you don't forget to give us likes, subscribe it to this YouTube channel so you'll be notified for more new videos coming up. And make sure you follow me on Instagrams. And hope you're staying safe. Happy Chinese New Year, everyone.